welcome to Heal with Us, where we aim to inspire, strengthen, and empower.
Now let's begin to heal.
Hey, y'all, I'm Toya, and I'll be investigating the business of everyday people like you and I. This is Dr. Nikkisha. She'll be checking in on your heart. And this is Tam. She'll be enlightening you with fun facts you didn't even know you needed. She's just nerdy like that. Now that you know us, let's get into business.
In your business.
All right, so I want to start off by asking what comes to mind when you think of boundaries?
So when I think of boundaries, I just think of establishing clear lines of acceptable and unacceptable behaviors and expectations. So yeah.
They're not just in her mind, they're real lines. Tam,
Pong.
what comes to mind when you think of boundaries?
I said Pong.
Who?
You missed my reaction.
Pong. 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 Pong was a game that was played on Atari.
Oh.
And it was a little thick line and it was a ball. And you had to hit the ball with this line, but you moved the line left to right to hit the ball.
Oh, I kind
And
of
it had
remember
to
that.
stay in a certain parameter, which
Okay.
was a box, and it was called Pong.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
The fact that I repeated the question because I thought she was speaking another language.
I know, I was like,
Okay, I'm gonna just ask her again then. And then for me, I think being uncomfortable kind of like activates my boundaries. Like I don't even know that I don't have them unless I'm uncomfortable with something. So I don't create them until I feel like it's needed. So how do you set boundaries?
Oh, I'm gonna talk about that in
Oh,
my segment. So I'll get back with you on
Okay.
that. Okay, yes.
How do you set boundaries?
How do I set boundaries? A clear conversation. You know, I previously spoke in another episode where I said that you teach people how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of knowing someone or starting a new relationship, out the gate, set those boundaries. Let them know what you will and will not tolerate and what you will and will not, be disrespected again. So just let them know what your deal is, what you expect.
Yep, and I have the opposite upside down real bad effect because I wait until I can't take it anymore, and then it's hard to like try to go back and reset a
Reverse
boundary.
it. Yeah.
So how do you overcome hurting feelings while trying to set boundaries?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I think you have to recognize it's more to it than just hurting somebody's feelings because it can be a matter of you protecting your sanity, your peace, what's best for you. So I think it's just the way you say things or do things. That's where you kind of try to honor people by, even in you protecting yourself and hopefully making it come off in a way where you're making it clear that this is not about offending you or hurting you or anything like that. I'm just need to do what's best for me in this moment.
Tam?
I'm special. Can you repeat the question?
How do you overcome hurting feelings to set boundaries or while trying to set boundaries?
I would preface that conversation with, please don't take this personally. But like Dr. Nikkisha said, I have to protect myself first. For me, I love hard. I pour 180,000% of myself into relationships, and I know what it's like to, you be in a relationship, albeit intimate or just a friendship relationship, and the boundaries aren't set, and the other person or you think it's okay to do something, and then when that boundary is set because there was lack of communication, feelings are hurt, and depending on the level of maturity of that relationship, it may be nipped in the bud and say, hey, I'm hurt because of this, and then you realize you should have set that boundary. Or if there's a lack of maturity in that, the two people will probably just not speak to each other anymore when it was probably a relationship brought together by God. that has now dissipated or been ruined because boundaries wasn't set in the beginning, or conversation or communication wasn't had. So I would preface it by saying, you know, please don't take this personal, but I have to do this for myself.
Yep.
To let you know.
Yeah. I think that for me, I have learned that my well-being is like more important than like some hurt feelings sometimes.
Yes.
Because if I'm just walking around hurt, then it's not helping anybody anyway.
Exactly.
So remember, tomorrow's one day closer to you becoming the person you want to become. Just make one choice at a time. Thank you for letting me get in your business.
In your business.
Anytime. Blessings. It's Dr. Nikkisha Bell-Griffin. How's your heart? Hey, ladies. Let's continue our conversation about boundaries because we know this is very important to just protecting your physical, mental, emotional well-being. And just in case you don't know what boundaries are, it's any mental, emotional, and physical limit that keeps you safe. Boundaries are your rules or guidelines for how you want to be treated, and they help you assert yourself. So, as Tamara said previously, it gives people clarity on exactly how you want to be treated. Okay. And so, Toya, you mentioned previously that you have a hard time creating boundaries, and you're not alone. Like, part of that, I believe, is because we don't necessarily know what we need or want, and we don't really clarify for ourselves what's important to us. So it's just something that, you know, you can work on, and sometimes it's experience is the best teacher, and, you know, but prayerfully you won't have to get to those uncomfortable places where this is where you learn, oh, I don't like that. You know, you can establish that before that happens. So I'll just talk about a few ways to create boundaries. One is to identify, of course, your needs and what's most important to you. So for me, I've learned over the years, like as y'all were cracking jokes about me having a actual
The real
line. I know for me, being in a uncluttered space is important to me, and I'm just naming something very simple, but it's important. So I have to clarify and be very clear about what that looks like for me, because my idea of clutter free may not be someone else's. So in my home, you know, my girls, my kids knew, okay, you can get away with a little bit, but when it starts to get to a certain point, we're not going to have this. So, what in your experience, ladies, or just in your, you know, your everyday life, what do you do when your needs are not being met? And before you answer that, let's back up. What's something that you feel like is an important boundary for you? And I'll start with you this time.
I gotta start me. What's an important boundary for me? On what? I mean, like,
I mean, it
is
could
it
be
your
personal.
spouse?
It could be, yeah, it could be with your a relationship, that your personal relationship with your spouse, or it can be work, anything. Just you pick one that just is at the top of your brain right now.
Hey, top of the brain, top of the dome.
Yes, at the top of the dome.
My boundary is you can't get in my bed without taking a shower.
Oh, okay, that's
That's
very
a,
important. That's
a boundary for me.
crucial.
So if you don't feel like it, your couch. You cannot get in my bed without taking a shower.
Okay.
And another boundary, I'm sorry, I have several.
Okay.
You can't sit on my bed with your street clothes on. Do not sit on my bed with your everyday clothes on.
Okay.
Like, it's just the germs, the dirt.
Okay, I've heard that before. Okay, all right, that's good. How about you, Toya?
Mine are probably just emotional boundaries, because I don't know, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't like the street clothes either, but
But she's not gonna say anything.
Yeah,
She
probably
has not.
yeah, didn't set any strict boundaries. But I think, like, if I feel like somebody is doing something that would hurt me, I would probably, like, you know, ahead of time, that might be a boundary I set.
Now, see, for me, if I don't know you, I won't say nothing. I'll be hurt and just corner away in the corner, like ball up in the corner.
Yeah, I retreat sometimes.
And sometimes, even if I know the person, sometimes I still won't say nothing.
Why do you think that is?
I just don't like saying no. I don't like being negative. I don't like drama.
So
Okay.
I'm a crybaby, so I can't hide. Even if I wanted to hide it, I wouldn't be able to hide it. They would see it all over me. So I think that's probably why I don't want to get to the point where I'm like so emotional that everybody can see. So
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we're gonna revisit that. Okay.
uh-oh.
All right. So
Broke you down.
that kind of ties into what do you do, and y'all kind of, I guess, just answer this. What do you do when your needs or your boundaries are not being met or respected?
So if it's my in the bed or sitting on the bed, first I woosah. Nam yo ho de kekyo. Um, because I don't want I want everyone, whoever enters my home, I want you to feel welcome. I want you to feel like you are at a Airbnb, a spot. Like that's how I want you to feel. But if I sit there not saying anything, my anxiety is just gonna and so I have to sit there and fight with myself. Like, how do you tell this person that that's a boundary for you? For them to not say, well, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to go to her house. But that's a boundary for me.
Right.
So it's like, do you say, hey, this is a boundary? Or do you just, that really, really say how you feel? It bothers me when such and such does da da da.
Right.
So I guess that, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. And we'll talk. We're gonna address that.
Okay.
So yeah. So make sure I come back to that.
Okay.
Okay. How about you?
Oh yeah. Remember, it just builds up and nothing happens.
Okay. So we
Yeah,
have
just
to.
run away, retreat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think for me, I immediately introflect, like do some introspection, like is it something I didn't communicate well? Did I communicate that I'm passive and you can just, I mean, I'm not talking about, because sometimes
Intro.
like with the,
Intro means to yourself.
yes. Oh yes, sister. Yeah. So I'm gonna say self-reflective. Is that better?
Yeah.
I immediately look at myself like, okay, did I communicate to this individual that it's okay to say or do? Because I mean, I've had people that kind of just talk to me sideways, and I'm like, I'm a very nice person. I mean, I can get an attitude, but you have to take me there. I don't just get an attitude out of nowhere. And sometimes I've encountered people who are just rude. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And it's like, did my persona say, walk all over me or talk to me any kind of way? So I immediately question myself, like, okay, what am I projecting? And then after that, sometimes I have to walk away because, I might want to cry depending on who it is, or I might want to, say some choice words. But to protect myself from stepping out of my character, I try to step away from the situation. And then when I'm thinking more clearly, I may go back to that person and say, well, you really could have said this way, because it came off very negative or, offensive, and then sometimes the person's like, oh, I didn't even mean it that way. Or they just defend themselves and think that, oh, that's your problem if you didn't like my presentation. I just have to deal with it as it comes. But I think that's always something I do, is just kind of look at how am I presenting myself,
That's so grown up.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't always, because it hurts sometimes. Like when people are treating you a way that, like you talk about, teach people how to treat you, when it doesn't come off the way you want it, it's like, well, where did I go wrong, And sometimes I think it's because of, like I talked to y'all about people pleasing. Sometimes it is that. Sometimes it's, just me kind of just self-doubt. So I think sometimes when I'm projecting those things, people who are not sensitive or compassionate or mature enough take advantage of that. So,
That's
so I'm
true.
definitely, so I definitely have to kind of be aware.
A little bit, because working in customer service, you learn not to take that stuff personal. So if somebody can come at me like with breathing fire, and it's like, okay, but okay,
Yeah, and I've seen
what do you really need? What do you really want? You know. So I think you gotta take the personal, taking the personal aspect.
Yeah, and I've been told that, but sometimes it's so hard
because it's hurtful.
But I love how you said you ask the person what is it that you
Yes.
really need, because that is what boundaries is all about. Like, and sometimes when you're asking that person,
Wait. So you saying that's what boundaries all about? Asking the boundaries about what they need?
no, well, what I'm saying is sometimes people are trying to push your boundaries or cross your boundaries because they're not effectively communicating what they need. So by her asking that, it's kind of making them take responsibility for, why am I responding to this person like this? What is it? Yeah. So yeah. So sometimes it's. I mean, a lot of times it's not about us. When people are, in your case with the bed situation or whatever, that's not something that's like a a universal thing. So I think that you have to communicate that maybe beforehand, or just like lightheartedly, like, I'm really. I mean,
no way to
but
be
I know. I don't know how to.
Knowing her, right? I wouldn't even dare sit on her bed with my street clothes.
That right there makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, I don't want you to not dare.
No, but we just
that's
know
okay.
that you have a certain standard to cleanliness.
It makes me
and germs. So we know, like, okay, wait, or I'll at least ask, like,
right.
do the shoes come off?
Right.
Or
Right.
she will respond to you. And if you don't, like, if it's somebody that don't know her and they don't take the shoes off, I'm telling on you.
Right.
She'll be like, oh no, I was gonna mop the whole house down anyway, so you good, you can wear them.
Because I hate to say no or be, and I don't want to come across like intrusive. Like I'm just OCD. I'm sorry.
And we love that about you. We're used to that about you.
Yes, and I think that's important to recognize, because you can look at that in so many different ways. But like for me, I do have a high level of respect for you, because you know what you want, and you are trying to protect what you want. In the same token,
I'm only telling you this because I know what I want. I'm gonna use that.
Yes. But and I will say though, I think too, sometimes you have to weigh the significance. Like, weigh the significance in certain situations. Like, am I gonna die? I mean, what's gonna happen if this situation?
It feels like, because anxiety just amps up. Like, oh my God, they got their shoes on.
Right. Yeah.
But then I come to them with a booty, and then it's like, well, I don't want to go back to her house because I got to take my shoes off. But I provided you with a booty.
Right.
You have to take them off.
I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna put the booty on, but I'm gonna be laughing the whole time. You didn't do that the last time I came to your house. Were you like?
You took your shoes off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, or it was mop day.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you. Yeah. So I think, like Toya said, I think too, it's about relationship. Like, people who know you know that you're genuine and you're not trying to be mean. This is just your boundaries. This is what you need to feel comfortable and safe in your own home. And if people don't like it, they take it the wrong way. Really, and especially if you know you've come off respectfully, there's nothing else you can do about that. You can't be responsible for somebody else's feelings, knowing that you have come and address the situation, to honor them as well as protect yourself. So that's, everything is not easy. This is what makes relationships so challenging, because we all have different boundaries and expectations. So another part of setting boundaries is like being, and I said this before, clearly and effectively identifying and expressing what you need and what's important to you. And Tamara, you said this before, communication. Like, it is all about communication. Communication is key. And I think for you, being that you have a hard time setting boundaries right off top, you have to get in the habit of saying, this makes me feel, and putting it out there before the uncomfortable circumstances jump off, and being okay with expressing that, because you deserve to be, what your needs deserve to be met, So I guess y'all kind of are. I'm not even going to address that. I was going to ask, what kind of challenges have you encountered trying to communicate your needs or what's important to you?
I can answer.
Okay, go ahead.
So back to the my space.
Right.
Someone came there and it was a function or whatever, and they stayed late just sitting around talking, and I was cleaning. And weeks go by. I reached out to this person. They weren't responding. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Well, I have a friend that is also a friend with that person, and telling me, and I was like, hey, I reached out to so and so. It's like, well, we had a conversation. I wasn't really supposed to tell you, but you made them feel uncomfortable. I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do? Because they were like, you wouldn't sit down and talk with us. You were cleaning, and I'm like, well, first of all, it was late when y'all left. I wasn't gonna be up all late by myself cleaning. Now I was going to get in the bed when y'all leave, you know.
Exactly.
And they were just like, well, they just didn't feel comfortable, and you just made them feel so uncomfortable. And I'm like,
Right.
so,
Right.
No, that's your house and you live there. So.
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's like, what
And that,
do you do?
yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying too. Like, was that really on you, or was that individual?
Because see, I don't know. Maybe I should have sat and
or
had a conversation.
I mean, I know when we go to functions, and especially if it's family or whatever, you need help.
Right.
You know, that's what where you're gonna say. Like, if you notice the person's cleaning by themselves, do you need help? Because you read the room. Like,
most people don't.
okay, yeah. Well, that's the problem in and of itself. But I think taking the responsibility of someone else's emotions off yourself, because my question is, why did that person take it that way? You know, like, you know, they need to ask themselves that, like, does she seem like a rude, you know, again, like, you have to really do some self-examination, you know, like, is this really me, or was the person really just stuck up and whatever, you know, because, I mean, people who have great standards, because not everybody protects their house or their self. They'll let people come over and do whatever they want to do. Exactly. Yeah, and the fact that you are very verbal about, you know, and maybe not necessarily verbal, but your actions
but
show
you could
that.
have been like, it's time for me to clean up, so have a nice
I
night.
know, exactly.
You not do that.
Exactly.
But I'm not really verbal though. It's just I will sit there and it's like, my husband, for example, knows me so well. Like, we have people and it's winding down, and I'll be fidgeting. He's like, that spot over there bothering me. You just don't know.
That is so funny.
But somebody that don't know me be like, did she have to use the bathroom, or what's going on with her? Like, you know, and it's like, well, maybe my presence here is making her feel that way. Them thinking this.
It's funny that you said that, because you don't have to say a word. I know the looks, I know the the body language, like, okay. Yeah.
And I know that maybe I need to get help about my OCD, but I don't want it to affect relationships.
Yeah.
But it just bothers. I just have to have my spaces. I'm sorry. That's just.
And that's where I said communication is about, that is about compromise. You know, like, what are you willing to compromise? What's feasible? You know, what's catastrophizing? You know, because
I can't compromise.
Yeah, so you have
to. It feels too good for you to do the cleaning and the. She's getting too much of a reward.
Right.
I would think that if someone's in my presence, they should appreciate the fact that I want things clean and in place. Everything has a place.
Yeah.
And clean. Wouldn't the average bear respect that?
Yeah. And I think communication in that aspect too, or it's as simple as asking questions like, you know, like I said before, like, can I do anything to help you? You know, like, just kind of like trying to figure out, okay, is this person okay with cleaning up by themselves, and, you know, whatever, or, you know, just asking simple questions might kind of break down those walls and miscommunication and help them understand, okay, this is important to her. So
riddle me this. If I'm just meeting somebody,
riddle me this.
Should I just tell them, look, I have OCD, I clean a lot, it's nothing against you, but if my cleanliness and, you know, my heightened of anxiety kicks up because you left the fork on the right side of the sink when we use the left side for dirty dishes, is that going to be a problem? Right. So I should preface the start of that relationship.
I don't see why
that's not too much to scare the person off.
I mean, if you plan on, this is a person that you feel like is someone you're interested in maintaining a relationship with, then but if it's somebody that you know is just, it's not even worth your time, you know.
Meanwhile, you would never do that. You would just kindly pick the fork up out the wrong side, clean it.
But she's saying, should she start doing that?
Yeah, like practice it
She
instead
start-
of them seeing that
Mm-hmm.
and them saying, "Oh, did I put that in the wrong place?" And me lying, saying, "Oh no, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
lying. I'm not being truthful."
But we can see you cleaning it, so we know that you're lying. The people can see you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, because then, you're just getting it out, you're putting it out there. I mean, there's no harm in that.
Yeah.
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 I just thought it was
Yeah.
scary people.
And I think when a lot of any situation, I think sometimes kind of having that dialogue beforehand is helpful, especially when you're getting to know someone, because you can easily misread someone thinking that, they have ill intentions or they're just, funny acting or whatever, when really that's not the case at all. So I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So my last suggestion for creating boundaries is being consistent and knowing what you mean and meaning what you say or do, because mixed messages can breach your boundaries. And I know especially with children, oh my gosh, I've kind of like blocked in this area sometimes because I'll say one thing and then I'm like not following through on it. And then it's kind of like, well, you let us get away with it, or you let her, So, so just being consistent is really key, because it helps people to really see, this is what she likes, this is what she needs and wants. But if you're up and down, it's like, how are people supposed to know that, this is important to you and this is, your expectation. So I'll conclude by saying that boundaries are very important. We know this. They improve your emotional health, your self-care capabilities. They help to reduce burnout and stress, as well as promote autonomy and self-respect and respect from others. So do your best to just figure out creative ways to protect your boundaries, establish boundaries, and don't be afraid to uphold them. Because if they're important to you, they should be important to the people that love you. That's the bottom line. I love you enough to say, okay, I can get over her OCD for today. I'm just saying, if I'm at your house for that moment, I mean, every day that I come over, I'm talking about your house in this instance, okay? Because that was your example.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can compromise. I cannot take it personal forever.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you said
forever.
impose it on other people. So, like, if you're at somebody's house, okay, the itch might be there, but people don't know the itch is there.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Because I could be so focused on something that's bothering me in someone else's house, they could be talking directly to me, and I'm not even paying attention to what they're saying.
Wow.
It's like,
Yeah.
Tamara, like,
Yeah.
oh, huh?
Yeah. And that's why I say, I think I love how you said maybe I should just start putting it out there. I think that's important. I think that'd be helpful,
Yeah, it'd be helpful, and I don't know. I worry about other people's comfort more than my own, and
and then
I know I need to work on that.
Yeah.
But that's just the thing, and sometimes I think because I am the way I am, that's why people don't really come around. I don't know. That's just me. Again, but I'm not changing because that's my space.
Right. Exactly.
That's the only way I feel comfortable.
Exactly.
And I have to have it that way because I can't think when there's clutter. I can't think when the brush is on the bathroom counter instead of in the bin underneath the sink.
Oh.
I just cannot focus.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah. And that's okay. You deserve to protect all that. So thank you for sharing and being so honest. Yes, exactly. We embrace you.
Yes.
Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you all. And just remember, like I said, to just do whatever you need to do to set clear boundaries. If you're not sure what your boundaries are, just kind of examine the things that kind of rub you the wrong way. As well as the things that bring you joy, okay? I love her. I love my sister. And don't wait till it gets to the point where you are feeling violated and frustrated, and ready to hurt someone or hurt yourself because you have not protected your boundaries. So that's it for me. And remember to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Peace.
Hello there. Welcome to the Nerds Corner. Roll over and get nice and comfy and snuggled and in my clean space over here in this clean corner. So, you guys, I'm a big advocate about chemicals and clean products. So I want to share 2 apps with you today and the world that will help you when you're in the store or either just shopping online to help you kind of look up these items to see how much of the makeup of that item is clean. Okay. So the first one is called Think Dirty.
Okay.
Think Dirty. Okay.
We're gonna remember that.
And the second app is called Yucca. Y as in yo-yo, UKA. Yucca. These 2 apps, you go in and, I mean, it's a big, huge directory. I know Think Dirty, I've used that one first. And when I first started using it, I think it was back in 2013. So it's been around for a while. I know now that it's gotten so popular. I think it has that in-app purchase where you pay so much a year or a month and they'll expand their index of things for you.
Okay.
But you go into the app and it has it categorized by, like women's products, facial products, household products, self-care, postpartum products. Then it breaks it down even further to like vegan options. So like vegan skincare, vegan hair care, cruelty-free. Then it breaks down to like cleaning products. So there's different categories. So if you type, I don't know, maybe give me a product. Any
Clorox.
Clorox. Okay, let's see. Clorox. So you just type in Clorox. It's going to give you different subsets of Clorox. So now on the screen I'm looking, it says Clorox cleanup. It says Clorox bleach. They got Clorox. I've never heard of this. Sanative, I think that's how you say it. So it breaks it down. So when you look at this and you just click on one of these Clorox items. I'm clicking on the Clorox Company of Canada, their commercial bleach, right? So in the corner, it's going to give you a number to tell you what this app rate the toxicity of some of the chemicals that make up this particular bleach. So this particular bleach got a rating of 6. So it breaks down that 6 into the different categories. So 5 of that rating says that it's clean, okay? But that 1 is half and half. And there's 4 different subsections. You get a clean section, half and half, and a dirty section, as well as it hasn't been rated. Sometimes you can type a product in here and they haven't really reviewed it yet, so it won't have a rating. You'll see 0. But if you click on that clean section part, it will list and give you all the information of what they consider to be clean. So the active ingredients that they're saying is clean is sodium carbonate, sodium chlorate, sodium hydroxide, sodium chloride, and water. Those are the 5 out of the whole 6 is what's clean. What's half and half mean is half clean and half dirty is sodium hypochlorate. Whatever that is. Okay, so you can go in this app and you can type anything in here. I'm going to type in Dove soap.
Oh, Lord. You do sensitive skin.
Dove soap. Okay. Right off the bat, Dove soap beauty bar. The regular Dove soap. You see right here it has an 8. It's in red. That 8 means that it has 12 clean chemicals in it, but one of them is dirty. So if you're interested in to know what that dirty is, you click on it and it tells you right here, the fragrance. It pops up in red. Everything that's in green is clean. Then if it's in gray, that's the non-rated yet. So they haven't really rated to see what the uncleanliness of it is. So it's a very helpful tool for those who have allergies. And then if you click, it even goes even further. If you click on that red one that's dirty, it'll tell you what makes it dirty and then how they use it to make it, that makes it unsafe, explanations. Like it's a very good app to use if you are allergic to a lot of things or sensitive to a lot of things. The other app that I mentioned, Yucca, that app also incorporates food, whereas Think Dirty doesn't. This is mostly household, body care, those type of things. Yucca includes food. So you click on Yucca and say you type in Ritz crackers. It's going to give you what's clean out of the ingredients and what's not. So those who have food allergies, Yucca is a very good app to use when you're in the store and you're looking at something and you see a chemical on the back and you're not sure of what it is. As I said in previous episodes, when you go in the store, please look at the makeup of that product. If you cannot pronounce it, or it's something that you don't understand, or something you got to Google, put that back on the shelf because it's not clean. It's not clean. I mean, you pick up a bag of cookies, you should just see eggs, sugar, flour. Anything other than that, it's artificial. It's not good for you. Put it back on the shelf. So I just wanted to share that with you too, and to the world as well. Those two apps, once again, is Think Dirty and Yucca.
So do these apps suggest things that are clean that you should use, maybe?
Oh, yes.
Especially for cleaning products.
Thank you for bringing it up. Okay. So if you type in a cleaning product and they give it a really high rating for it to be unclean, underneath, if you just scroll down, underneath it'll list other products in that category that are very clean.
Okay.
With like websites where to buy them.
Awesome.
The only thing they don't give is like the price. The price range. But yes.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yes.
I feel like one of my daughters is using this app against me because I had some facial stuff and she was like, "Let me see that," and she scanned it and it told her, she was like, "It's not good for you."
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. So you can scan.
Yeah. So you can scan. It has the little scan QR code. I don't know if it has the QR yet, but it has the scan bar thing. And you just take it, put your phone up to that product dupe, and it'll bring up everything about it.
Yeah, she was like, just as I suspected, not good for you.
But there is a disclaimer on the app that says that, use it as your discretion. This is not like a FDA moderated type of app. But honestly, everything that I've ever looked up in there was true for me. So
and that's the hard part because you're trying to be safer, but at the end of the day, it's probably nothing that's 100% clean. So you're gonna have to figure out what's best for you. Otherwise, you're gonna be
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just so many products are just so, and it's the false advertising. Like our episode about the honey.
Right.
The two of you didn't know
about you the other day.
that they were putting false honey on the shelves because. Just like when we were off camera, we were getting ready, and I said my little thing about the cow's tongue. I think weird thoughts that nobody else thinks. And I've always wondered, I'm like, these bees cannot be producing this much honey. Think about one grocery store you're in and think about all the grocery stores around the world. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about what they do to produce and mass produce chickens to meet the demand. They can't do that. They can't plump up a bee.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like they do the chickens. They put the steroids and all that crap in them and, plump them up so that they can produce faster. But, it's like, and then you think about fruit. People forget that fruits have seasons. Fruits have seasons, okay? So if you're eating an orange in the summertime, that is not orange season.
Right.
There's duck season. Okay. I'm just saying. So when I buy my fruit, I try to eat
Seasonal,
according to the season
right,
because
yeah,
I know
yeah,
it
yeah.
came from a farm that was
Right.
and not a laboratory somewhere or
Right.
somewhere where they're just growing them in a false environment
Right.
because we want to have peaches on the shelves in the wintertime.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Wintertime is not peach season.
Right.
So, and if you don't know, Google to
Yeah,
see when the
yeah,
fruit season.
yeah.
And another thing, I just suggest to people to kind of get more on the natural side of eating anything. Anything that what you want, anything that has a seed in it. Because think about it. You can eat that, put that seed in the ground, and it'll produce what you just ate.
Right.
There is no such thing as a seedless grape. If it's seedless, how did you grow the grape? These are the things that be going
Talk
through
about my
my
seedless
mind
grapes.
when I'm walking through the store. White seedless grapes. Well, how the ham sandwich did you grow the grape if there's no seed? I'm just saying. Bananas. How we growing bananas and ain't no seeds in it? I love bananas.
There's no seeds. Seeds are not supposed to be in bananas. I don't think that's how that fruit works.
But
okay, now I'm about to do
think
some
about it.
because it grows on a. I'm gonna have now. You're making me
Okay,
want to go
orange
back
grow
and
on a tree.
research.
You about to say it? Orange grow on a tree.
Right,
Pineapple grows on a
but
tree.
it has some roots, right? Isn't that the top part? Okay, we gonna do some
But
investigating
I'm not
and get back
saying
with y'all.
that a banana should have a seed.
Right,
But that was like an example.
Right.
That was just an
Although
example.
that does make you scratch your head because
Yeah,
they say fruits are supposed to have seeds.
Fruits are supposed to have seeds.
I'm gonna have to investigate that.
You know, I was in the store the other day and I saw seedless tomatoes. What?
I'm not saying that. Wow.
Low acidic tomatoes. How do you make a low acidic tomatoes besides in a laboratory?
Right, yeah.
I understand
Definitely.
that people have sensitivity like acid reflux. I get that, but now you're altering science.
Right.
A tomato was
Nature.
meant to have the acidic content in it. So those are my 2 apps.
Okay.
And
Definitely got me scratching my head,
check
y'all.
them out, download it, use it.
Okay.
And let me know what things you researched and found that were dirty.
Okay. We'll do that. Thank you. Always
That's all I have.
informative in the Nerd's Corner.
Well, I try to be.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Heal With Us.
And remember, healing is a process, so take it one day at a time.
So remember, we are available across all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, all the things. So you can't say you can't reach us. I'm just saying. You can also email us at healwithus3@gmail.com. Any questions you may have. If you have comments about something we discussed on the episode, leave them there. Any ideas, show ideas, you can also share them with us there. So, yeah.
Heal with us.
Heal with us.
In your business.